when that mother, the second mother, had the scan afterwards and showed it was normal, the doctor, that's when he said, he was scratching his head and saying, well, I can't understand this because these are 99.9%. You must be the 0.1%.
Yeah. Okay.
So
wow, that's incredible. Two couples managed to have their Down syndrome child, or the symptom of Down syndrome, reversed. Incredible.
my message really is just stand in that I know what's possible if we open our eyes to it.
Love it. And that's it's a big thing, isn't it? Opening our eyes to it, because it's almost like just kind of getting rid of all of our conditioning or all of our education the limited stuff we do know on medicine and what's possible, and just kind of throwing it out the window.
Yeah.
And going, okay, I'm open to understanding something else beyond everything I've learned about is possible. And could there be something way more beautiful and powerful and healing than what meets the eye? So when you work with these couples, or with the person with arthritis that seems to be healed after half an hour with you, they must be very open. They couldn't be closed books about it and just refuse to believe it and then have the same results, could they? Because it's very much, well, you tell me. Is it?
Well, she said, just do a session for me overnight while I sleep, if you want, she said. And so I did. And then after that, I didn't do anything else. And I didn't ask her anything. She had her tests about, I think, 2 weeks after that. And then I saw her a couple of days ago, and she just said to me, she said, what did you do? Said, because I went to the doctor before I spoke to you, and she said the lumps were there. I could feel them. And she said, when I went back again, she said there was nothing there. And she says, what did you do? And I said, I I know what it is, but it's hard to explain to somebody who doesn't, it's a frequency. It's just a frequency, right? So
yeah, I think
it's possible.
It is frequency, isn't it? And that's what we are at the subatomic level. We are all just giant bundles of vibrations that every single cell is vibrating, isn't it? Every single cell that makes a tissue or bone or organ, everything's vibrating.
Yeah.
And different this is actually something Rife found out in the early 1900s, but how cancer tumors can just be obliterated using frequency, and that's using sound frequency. And he also found that different infections and viruses and pathogens had different frequencies as well. So if you match the frequency, you can obliterate whatever it is, because that's what we are at the subatomic level. And quantum physics is all about that, isn't it? It's understanding that at the subatomic level, we are if we zoom in enough on an atom, we're 99.999% empty space, which is vibrating. Everything's vibrating. And the sooner we all get our heads around this, the sooner we can kind of open our mind up to limitless potential. And you use that word in your video that I saw on YouTube. It's the idea that we have limitless potential when we are more familiar with ourselves, understanding ourselves as energetic beings rather than these intelligent meat robots.
And sorry, go ahead.
No, you carry on.
It was basically, what you just said about Rife and the frequency. I think this is important for everyone to know that you are a frequency machine.
Thank you. No, we all are. Yeah.
we all are this frequency machine, and we're the biggest frequency machine. It's like the body is one of those amazing frequency generators. And the thing that impacts those frequencies is our thoughts and our perceptions and the way we feel, emotions. We've got to, and the biggest thing is when we judge ourselves. that is
creates
where
so much resistance.
it creates that resistance for
Yeah.
that. The power of that universe that comes through us is generating so much through us. But when we're not, I was listening to this book, I forget what it's called now, but it's about this is Swami Rhama. He was able to control his autonomic nervous system, his temperature, his body temperature, and all these other things. And I saw this one video where he could actually just with will could glow just like that, just glow. But he said if we have a focused mind, focused way of being, then that energy, I'm paraphrasing, that energy that comes through us just comes through us, through this mind, through this body in such a pure way. It's like a prism. It just comes through, and that creates our body. That's our epigenetics. Like we have that potential to be that pure source coming through us and being the health and well-being. But how do we do that? And this is why, ancient wisdom and spiritualities, we've been taught to meditate, we're taught to do yoga or go walk in nature or do all those other things. Why do we do that? Because we're bringing in, like we're coming in to ourselves, coming into this body. It's fine-tuning it. And as we fine-tune it, then we're able to channel that energy through our every cell, through our relationships, through our life. It becomes something that's very natural. Like you said, it's a technology.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you touched on thoughts, feelings, and emotions. In fact, I think you said thoughts, perception, and feelings. Did you say that? I think you did.
Well, yeah, perceptions like come from all of that.
But it's kind of like the language that we get to communicate with infinite intelligence, with the divine matrix, with whatever you want to call it. The intelligence, there is a language, isn't there? And the language is our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So our thoughts govern our feelings and emotions. And if we can get control of our thoughts and become open and let go of judgment and change how we view the world, the perception part of it, magic happens. And this was spoken about in the emotion code as well. It's not about what life gives us or what happens to us in life. It's about how we react to everything that governs our own health and our relationships. And it's our perception of the world, which is everything you're talking about, really, isn't it? It's if we view things and get highly stressed, and we know that, I believe the American Medical Association said stress is responsible for 80% of all illness and disease. I think Bruce Lipton quotes even 90%. But what they really mean is it's our reaction to the world around us which is causing that. It's not the stress itself. It's actually our perception of our reality that has the potential to harm our bodies or create vitality and allow this energy to flow through it. So I think I'm probably gabbling a bit too much now, but one of the things that we can do, I think, one of the best things that we can do for ourselves is to learn to change our perception. Would you say that's fair? And sometimes it's called emotional intelligence or psychology training, but maybe you could speak to that.
So I had this other conversation with somebody else yesterday too about this, but if we think about changing our perception, if we've got those beliefs, say our ancestors, and whatever happened to us as a kid, we're carrying that around. So if you want to shift your perception, okay, so for instance, you look in the mirror and you go, I feel beautiful, I look beautiful, and then you're inside, you're going, I don't believe it, right? So you could be doing the affirmations, but you're not believing it. So it's like you're lying to yourself. I'm not saying affirmations don't work, but we're talking about perception here. So with regards to looking at that, we need to look and we need to feel what it is we feel about I don't look good. So that's coming from somewhere. So as if somebody was looking at the mirror, they're saying, I look beautiful. And then they're saying, but they're feeling inside, I don't look it. What we need to do, rather than, it's almost like you're looking at this, kind of turning a blind eye to this. So the key is to actually face this. What is it? I don't look good. Okay, so then the next step is, where do I feel that? Where do I feel that? Because there's an emotion next to it. Maybe there's sadness, maybe there's grief, or, you know, or whatever. Feel. Feelings connect you to the sensations in your body. Sensations are what your DNA is listening to. Sensations make up everything that you're not aware of. That could be what you've inherited from your ancestors, what your beliefs are, all of that. You don't need to know what those things are. All you need to do is feel. And as you feel it, and don't judge it, so you're looking at that, you feel it in your body, and you're noticing it, you're feeling it. As you become the witness, this is where the ancient wisdom and the spirituality and all of that comes into the science. Because with the quantum physics, it's like what you observe continues. So, you know, if you keep observing something and you've got this still kind of in your face, it's still going to be in your face until to look at it without judging it means that you are not, you're bringing the universal life force or the divinity of yourself, you're looking at it with the eyes of divinity, let's say.
And unconditional love.
Yeah. And as you look at it, it's the sensations that you're feeling because you're that divinity, which there's never a time that you're not. You're just acknowledging it, that moment. Those things will move through you. And it will move, and then your DNA expression shifts.
Wow. Yeah. And you can release these emotions, can't you? It's like releasing trapped emotions in a way, if I refer to the emotion code and how that can create blockages.
This goes further than that. Yes, you can release it. And I am a emotion code practitioner and a body code practitioner.
Yeah.
But this takes it further in the sense, you know, this is tips for people to take away, because it's like not everybody can do the emotion code. You can if you want to, but in that moment when you feel an emotion, there's a sensation connected to it. And if you can drop down from, the emotion becomes a judgment. Because it's like, I feel sadness, and you connect certain thoughts with sadness. Like, I shouldn't be feeling sadness, I shouldn't be doing this, or why am I feeling sad? You know, yeah. So then it's about dropping below that. There's this wave potential going on over here about something's like moving in your body as you feel the sadness. So can you connect to that without looking at it like it's sadness and going, well, I need to get rid of it? Can you just come down here and feel that? Because as you feel this is the vibration, this is the frequency that your DNA is listening to. And it's where you're, you know, like I said, your ancestral beliefs and everything is right here. And as you drop into that, you've entered the field of infinite possibilities. And as you feel into that, and you keep feeling, and with the infinite possibilities, or the eye of the divinity, of the divine, that begins to merge with the field of infinite possibilities. And so in that moment, everything that your ancestors, you inherited, or, you know, connected to that feeling is integrated into wholeness. And you become the conduit of change for your own DNA, as well as that for your family and for your ancestors. Because even if they're not alive, you've transmuted that energy that they experienced whenever and whatever it was. And then for your children too. And this is how we, as, you know, that the ancient wisdom of we are one with everything, it all comes down to this. This is how our DNA expression shifts.
Love it.
It's a moment to moment, moment to moment. Can we keep feeling? And that's my practice. I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, but it's years and years of constant practice of that.
Presence. And this is what you help your clients with, I guess.
Yes.
Is it possible to ask you, like, for a very brief synopsis of what you do with your clients? Or is it too much to kind of explain in a 1 minute synopsis?
I think
in an interview?
It comes down to this. If you want me to give people an experience of that, I'm happy to do that.
Oh, right here. Okay, let's do it. When in Rome. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
So if you can see the chat box, maybe you can we can ask people, put in from 0 to 10. If you've got a pain or an emotional thing going on, pick something that's higher up, like, a 10 or an 8 or a 7 or something like that. Just something like that.
I've only I just misspelled it. I think there's only a few people live anyway. Let's do it. Let's do it. I don't know how many people are live. Let's do it without the response. So the listeners who are listening to this in the future,
they will get it too. The benefits will come.
So think of something. Yeah, could you say that again?
So think of something either emotional or physical that's bothering you, and 10 is the highest and 0 is not at all. But something that's above 5. So maybe you could pick something, and we could see if it shifts.
Do I need to share what it is?
No, just give me a number. Just say it's physical or emotional.
Okay, let's say it's emotional.
Okay, so what number would you say it's at?
6.
6. Okay. So where do you feel that in your body?
I'd have to say neck.
Okay. Whereabouts on your neck? Just show me.
Kind of around here.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So I'm going to be silent for about a minute, and then and just, and everyone who's listening, whether you're in the replay or whether you're listening live, you'll benefit from this. So what we're doing, I'll just say, is just inviting the natural intelligence within you to take care of what it is that you've put your attention on. It's like the eye of divinity just coming in right now. Okay?
Okay, so what do I do? Close my eyes and...
Yeah, you can close your eyes. You can just keep feeling the same. Just watch and let your mind wander, Okay, so here we go. Okay, just see how that feels. from 0 to 10. And besides, there's no wrong moment. If that happened, it was meant to be. It was meant to bring up something in you.
Fury.
So just notice is that, you know, change. You see if there's any comments.
Initially, I feel like it felt like something was happening around my throat. It felt like something was easing. And then I just, I wasn't able to focus or concentrate or ignore the interruption that was happening right there.
Yeah. But that's it. It's like, really, that's the work. It's like, so I just want people to know that when they listen to that, they'll be able to, you know, receive it, even if it's a replay. So, but that's it. It's just awakening the natural intelligence in you. It's like connecting to, it's like holding up, like, I just, you know, there's a candle and in a dark room, and that lights up another candle. It's just that. It's really as simple as that.
Wow. And I will say that I have had this, I'll tell the audience that you have done this on me, you know, off camera. And I have felt these shifts in my body, and it put me into this state of really deep reflection. And it really took me back various memories. I experienced various memories in the past, but then I didn't have like an emotional attachment to it. I was able to feel the sensation disappear without kind of honing in on what it was. Which I think is a problem we have with traditional therapy, isn't it? Because sometimes they get you to kind of talk about things that happened, and it's like you relive it all again, and it becomes even more of a mini trauma in the mind, and then you try and release it. But this is kind of bypassing all that, isn't it? And you don't have to go and relive it again when you go at this level.
No, you don't, because if you become the universal frequency, then there is nothing to really talk about or do.
Which is a form of somatic therapy, isn't it?
I'm not familiar with that.
Okay.
Somatic meaning feeling and things.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that therapy, so I can't say.
So, quick recap: when you work with clients, because there's lots of stuff that's happening. If anyone's kind of new to this interview right now, they're not really going to understand what's happening. When you do these sessions with people, effectively what you're doing, or can you just kind of say what you're actually doing? You're helping them become a vessel. You're becoming a vessel, energetically connected for the divine to come through to do its thing. Would that be fair?
Yeah, it's like my life is basically to, you know, my mission is to become one with that divinity within myself. So every day is my meditation, whether I go for a walk, all of that. And that is what then helps me in my sessions with clients to be that space where I can hold that frequency so that they can then, you know, be the candle for them, basically. So it's literally like recognizing and having the knowing that I hold that divinity, I hold that natural intelligence, the ability for that to come through me, the frequency of that. And by knowing that and feeling that, when I'm with a client, that awakens in them. So
wow.
I'm not doing that, they're doing it. You know, you felt the sensations, your body was doing that, not me. It's just frequency again.
Incredible. It's just mind-boggling what is possible and what is, you know, what the human body is capable of when you tune in to the power of the infinite, the divine. Yeah, Charan, this has been going on for just under an hour now, and I'd love to kind of wrap this up by concluding what you've been talking about. So, epigenetics. Could you give a very quick recap what it is and how we have the power to heal our own bodies There's a statistic that I think it was in Biology of Belief, that we have the power to override the genes in about 95% of all illness and disease. And only 5% of all illness and disease is a result of genes that are fully penetrant, or are a result of genes that are fully penetrant. And that means that we don't have the power to override their expression by the environment that we keep in our bodies. And that's not to say that they can't be reversed or healed. It's just that we don't have that power. Is that fair to say? Is that correct? Is my understanding correct there?
When I read that in his book, I was like, well, but those 5%, I'm sure they can. And so when I worked with those Down syndrome babies, and then I have another, there's another case study where it's a genetic condition. They all overcame that. They all, it was one of those 5%.
Wow.
I believe anything's possible. I believe that if we, to summarize, if we can connect with that divinity within us by being mindful about every feeling we have, not judging it, but feel it. Feel the sensations in every moment. It's like a wave of things moving through you in your day. If you can just be that one focus of just observing those things that are moving through you, rather than and watching your mind, like, oh, my mind just went off. Okay, well, I'll bring it back right now. I'm going to observe my sensations. What am I feeling? And as you do that, you become the eye of the universal force that's observing things in you. And as you do, like I said, you're helping shift your genetic expression just by doing that. That's the power of presence.
Wow. That's so incredible. So incredible. Presence. That's what it's about, isn't it? Yeah. Not living in the past, not living in the future, and being totally in the now.
Yeah. We could
talk judgment.
We could talk forever. I know we can.
Yeah. Thank you, Charan. That's been really amazing. Where can people reach you to learn more about what you do?
They can get me on my website, charansurdhar.com. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. So yeah.
Okay.
And YouTube. I've got loads of YouTube channels, YouTube videos that they can go check out.
Under is that the name of your channel? I believe it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Great. We can put a link underneath this podcast interview when it's up there. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you'd like to add at this stage?
Thank you so much for being such a great host. I love talking to you. Thank you.
My pleasure. Can I ask you one last question? What's your number one vitality secret?
Vitality secret? Presence.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much. Okay. I'll end the broadcast now, Charan, and stay online.